Hello. So I would like to talk to you about the Matt Walsh situation today. Here, let's at least straighten this up to some resemblance of sanity. So it resembles sanity on any level. There we go. Yeah, here soon I need to have a better setup, or at least any setup on any level. And so very soon I at least plan to put minimal effort into having a better setup than this. Better than this. So anyways, that's entirely irrelevant right now, so just ignore all that. The Matt Walsh situation. So everything going on with that right now is very, very interesting to me. And the reason why is because, to me at least, it shows that a lot of these people who were commenting on it, that were making themselves be relevant in the story when they're not, Tim Pool, the quartering, there's a few other people that I also, just like Matt Walsh said, don't personally have anything against, and even will watch their content and be entertained by them on some level. But keyword there, entertain. So that's my main takeaway here. I think at the end of the day, with Matt Walsh and his response to everybody over the Dylan Mulvaney video, I think was very, very telling. It showed that Matt Walsh, while yes, he may be an entertainer as well, that might be part of it, just like he mentioned in the hearing, he said that, yes, I would like to draw attention to this. I think that's a very good thing to get more clicks. That doesn't always have to be perceived as a negative thing. Getting more clicks to watching a video exposing gender theory and all that stuff. I think that's pretty objectively, that's an objective statement. So anyways, everybody, though, who responded so quickly, such as the quartering, all these guys who for years now have criticized certain aspects and ideas within the transgender community, whatever, man, you even want to call it at this point. What do we even say? Is there any real, I don't want to say anything give it respect, but then also mocking it to a fault is also annoying on some level. The queers. So anyways, the queers, they have obviously been making the rounds for a long time, making their agendas be very relevant, making everything that they want to push onto all of us be very forceful in their attack and their approach. Nothing is done with grace, nothing is done with openness, nothing is done with patience, nothing is done with any of that. And so when you consider that, when you see a video like Matt Walsh going after Dylan Mulvaney and the very aggressive, very sharp-tongued way that he did, it was a very aggressive attack, and I will give people that. However, the context of that, I would say, is a million times more relevant. So you're going to go after the guy who is attacking, criticizing Dylan Mulvaney, who has pushed for mutilating children in the way of making surgery more accessible to them. So that point alone, we don't even need to go on the list of everything he's done. That alone, if this guy had had any success in that regard whatsoever, I would want him to be imprisoned for as long as a just system sees fit. We don't have a just system, but in a more perfect world, I would want Dylan Mulvaney to be imprisoned. Absolutely. And the takeaway from watching a video like Matt Walsh shouldn't be that he was mean, that this isn't the way that you win people's minds and all that. What that shows is that this is for entertainment purposes. Tim Pool, the quartering, which again, I'll still watch some of their content, but I will never watch them and consider them leaders within a movement that needs to start waking people's minds up, start changing people's hearts, speak to their soul. It needs to be a God-led revolution. I just watched Jesus Revolution last night, by the way. That movie is absolutely amazing. I recommend that to everybody. Everyone needs to see that. I will say that even though Tim Pool and them, they do good stuff in the realm of disputing, debunking gender theory and stuff. But at the end of the day, notice a lot of what they do is very surface level. They will only attack it so much, to only the extent in which the mainstream conservative view on it will allow them. And that's not good, because the way that even conservatives see gender theory, transgenders these days, is they give way too much respect and way too much room to be open to their ideas and to their way of life. When in reality, all of us should know, if all this just went away for like a month and we just once again lived amongst ourselves in the dirt, just regular humans just living amongst ourselves, we have no distractions, we don't have all this technology and social media and political distractions everywhere, left and right, everywhere. If none of that existed, so we're all just living in the dirt, right? That's where we are at the very beginning. Then suddenly, a group of like 5 to 10 people comes up to a group of thousands, and they're like, hey, so we have new ideas. So that guy, the guy that looks like a guy over there, yeah, that's a woman. That woman over there, he's a he. That dude is a 4-year-old girl. All of that, everybody would think it's insane. So basically, it proves that everything that we see and have been hearing for so long relating to all this stuff is literally just a construct of society. That's all it is, which is funny because you hear these people talk about like constructs of society and just all these different terms that they use, like gender is just it's not a real term, which, you know, there's some truth to it on some level, that gender is a made-up social construct. There's truth to that, but obviously they're using that for a totally different reason. They're using that line for a different reason. But the point is that these people that use this for entertainment purposes and look to or seek to use it for that simply to just continue growing the numbers, it's a real issue when your heart isn't fully into it. Your heart has to be 100% into it. Your heart, your mind, everything coming after you. And I will give these people sympathy because they're online far too much. Tim Pool, Quartering, are they ever offline? And so when that's the case, it's very hard to take in new information and to view it in the way that you should, and in the way that you would have if you were younger, had you had more knowledge when you were younger. But the way that you should react to this stuff, to all this transgender stuff, should be revolting. You should be revolted. You should want to throw up at the sight of hearing it. And we don't. We let that stuff go wayside for the most part. There's people who are combating it now, and those people are Matt Walsh. People like that. There's only a few of them who are actually seriously combating it. And like in a serious way that makes it look horrifying, that criticizes it at its deepest roots and points it out for exactly what it is, just how disgusting it is, man. People don't do this for the most part. And so the one person that is doing it right now on YouTube on a huge platform, and yes, he's doing it for clicks too, just like you mentioned in the hearing. Yes, bringing clicks is a part of it, but of course you want to bring more people to the truth of all this. It depends on what your intent is behind the clicks. And his intent is to wake people's minds up to this kind of stuff and just how disgusting and just how disturbing it is. So when you acknowledge that fact, why would you have anything against him? Maybe you in your own personal time can be like, oh, no, maybe that wasn't the right way of going it. And you could even mention that in the video. But to make the highlight of the video, to make him be the topic at hand, that says everything. It says that they're just going for what's trendy right now. They're going for the clicks. And you're never going to win that way. You're going to gain something for yourself. You're going to gain more followers, whatever. Although I don't think in the long run, that's the way that people are going to follow and trust you. But Matt Walsh, he's actually fighting a real war. People like Tim Pool and them, as of now at least, I can't say the same for them. I just can't. I hope that they change. I hope that they open their perspective up to this a little bit more. Take a break from YouTube. Take a break from social media, because that should have never even been a consideration to respond like that. It was really, really stupid. Dylan Mulvaney is out there attacking children's hearts, minds, souls. People like him are attacking children's minds, hearts, souls. We don't need to attack him like he specifically is the enemy, the number one enemy above all, but the idea of what he stands behind and the people that back him, they have to be targeted in the way of at least letting their name be known, like who's doing it. We have to say their name, or else we don't know, who we're talking about. So we have to say their name. We have to make their name be relevant as well. But we do need to attack the movement as a whole. That was like my one main criticism with Matt Walsh, is it was too specifically targeted at one individual when he's just a cog in the whole entire machine. So his actions need to be specifically attacked in the way that he did. But all the personal characterizations and stuff, it wasn't necessarily how I would go about it, but there was nothing wrong with it in the end. You're talking about child mutilation, mean names. Child mutilation, mean names. So, you tell me.